Hi everyone, I want to introduce you to a fantastic firearms instructor, a man called Gerald Bailey, someone I've trained with, someone I've come to know over the last few years. Without any further ado, hi Gerald.
Hey, how you doing, man?
So Gerald, let's get into this. Tell us about you and a little bit of your background history so we can get to know you better.
Well, I was originally born in Rhodesia, that is the now today Zimbabwe. We moved down to South Africa, joined the military, spent time serving there, passed pre-selection, selection, and qualified as a Navy diver. And then firearms career just started from there. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay, that's great. So you actually do have a military background. Before we go any further, you have a really interesting logo. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the name Geraint?
Durant, he was rumored to be a king during King Arthur's time, as well as it was a name of a knight who was meant to be a part of the round table. And I thought, well, that's really fitting for a good warrior culture, but adhering to traditional values. And then on top of it, I recently found out that Durant is Welsh for old man, which I just thought was a great giggle. Let's not be too serious about the names, but I thought that really fit well. It encompasses what we teach, groundbreaking stuff. It's just simple. It works with you, and yeah, it's traditional. And then again, the play on the name.
You're a firearms instructor, and I will tell the audience that you're a very good firearms instructor since I met you while doing training with a friend on one of your courses. We booked you for the entire day, and we were both very, very impressed.
Thank you.
I saw a huge uplift in my actual firearms ability, my skill level. I must admit, I sucked on the course. You made fun of me a lot on the course, which hurt and bruised my ego, but I believe you did it for my own
My
good.
patience,
And
patience, the grasshopper.
yeah, it was like in those movies. But I redeemed myself, discovering how much better I was on the next two firearms courses and firearms sessions that I did. I shot really well. The training just kicked in, and my friend and I discussed it afterwards. We were very happy with the instruction, and also one thing that you did was you were very, very personalized in your approach to me as a client and my friend as a client. You treated us as separate individuals. Your approach was tailored to each of us, and you
Yeah,
analyzed us. You used a piece of software that analyzed our geometry and how we were standing and our weight distribution. Very, very detailed, as if you were a sports science instructor, as if you were a coach. Very professional, very patient. You were working on tiny little details that you were capturing on your cell phone as you did the movies, as you played it in slow mo, as you played using the little geometries on that little app to show the
yeah,
lines that we should be following and how we were deviating by a few degrees. So there was a lot of precision, and those things stuck with me. I walked away from the course actually thinking, man, I need to get better. I can be better at this. And I realized what it was that I needed to fix because you'd shown me, it was very clear and on the screen, this is what needs to be repaired, which I did. And I went on two further courses in the States, and I did extremely well. I shot really well. So the credit to you there. So how did you get into firearms instruction, and what created your approach?
growing up in South Africa, the need for private firearm ownership was it's not a luxury; it's a necessity, and because of the high crime rates, and also with an engineering background, I love the way firearms work and how they're put together and such like that. And I had opportunity to train with some very high-end instructors, and they saw something in me and said, "Well, like, okay, you can be an instructor." And then I started pursuing it, and then started doing more courses, and getting my range officers course done. And then suddenly these instructors would turn around saying, "Well, I'll tell you what, come in my class and run half my class for me." So it was also a lot of time studying and watching and asking questions and being corrected and guided by industry professionals. And also seeing the approach that a lot of run-of-the-mill instructors follow. I disagreed with it, and especially in military basics, kind of course that they have to follow because there's just 700, 800 of us. I didn't like that. You mentioned the personalized service. That is performance-based training. So each person has uh, unique physical abilities, what we call fudge factors. Some are overweight, some are not overweight, some are train almost every day, some do not train every day. So by focusing on an individual, they can get the most out of the training, um, and develop it and take it in their own direction with their unique abilities. You get somebody in a wheelchair, you get somebody with only one leg. You can't train them the same as you would a guy who's just come out of military training. It's different. That is where I've tailored the curriculum to be able to be molded to different physical abilities, and also different firearms, as well.
You got into firearms. You established your own company. So in terms of your approach to using the very personalized approach and the very biomechanically correct approach, how did you get into that?
It's just literally doing my own study. We always teach, and hopefully you remember from the courses, the pursuit of greatness. Always strive for greatness in whatever you do. Pursue greatness in it. Never accept mediocrity. There are instructors out there there are parts that I'll disagree with what they do, but that's not necessarily we throw them away and I can't learn anything from them. And there are a few that I've watched, and they've pursued greatness in certain fields, and those fields I can learn and I can take from. Right. And just learning from them has set me on a trajectory where you do get the personalized service.
What do you think is something that is perhaps generally lacking within the firearms training industry? What are you doing to add something that may be missing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Personally, I feel is what we've already covered is we're moving away from that personalized service. Nowadays we all seem to be just a number. Okay, let's get the batch in and get them out. Okay, I've got money, great. And there are a few other instructors that I've seen. I haven't obviously seen them all, but there are a few of us who are focusing on the individual, where you are valued. Because my approach to my clients, I want you to go home to your family, whether you're law enforcement, military, and I've trained them all. General Joe Blob, who's at home and he just wants to defend his family. I work with what your abilities can do. So bringing the personalized service in and caring for my clients, that they go home, because that's something that I would like. I've been on courses where, yes, I'm considered a valued client, and I've been on a course where I was literally a few dollars. That's all I was.
Understood. Just briefly, you mentioned something. The guy at home, the average guy, just wants to defend his family at home from, let's say, a potential home invasion. You've written some books, and I know one of the books, just to mention to everyone, is on structure combatives or structure defense. Can you just give us a few words about that?
Yeah, that's written from a South African. There are areas in the Western world that don't understand the whole concept of fortifying your castle. So literally, it's making your castle, your home, your homestead, your apartment, whatever, a hardened structure, but not making it look like Fort Knox. Using natural vegetation to fortify, but yet still having, say, bars on the window, an alarm system, and then teaching the homeowner to defend himself with everyday things as well as firearms inside his structure. It's stuff that when I've had to clear my own structure or a friend's structure with him, it's the stuff that I've done, and it's what I did to my structure. So it's not I'm saying, you should have a $50 million alarm system, and I'm sitting with a $2 alarm system. What I teach you is what I do.
I will tell the audience that one of the reasons I got into the training was there was a home invasion incident at my brother's house. Mm-hmm. These guys nearly got in. It would have probably been fatal if they had. He was very, very lucky. He managed to raise an alarm with the neighbors. They called the police. The guys fled. They nearly shot through the door that might have killed him. And yeah, I realized that I needed to be ready. I needed to have skills with firearms, and I was very lucky that we found you. So there are challenges in the firearms industry that you've said. what are some of the more urgent challenges? So besides customer service, but what are some of the, because times change, problems change, new technologies come to the fore. What do you think are some of the challenges facing the industry today?
Yeah, another great question. In my opinion, and I'm sure people might disagree, but some of the challenges that I am seeing in my research is the Gucci classes. Unfortunately, people want to go to attend class because they want to feel good. They don't necessarily want to learn. And like I said, I've attended a class where, yeah, we came out tired and dirty and stuff. 3% retention of stuff learned because it was more of a Gucci class. We've now termed it tactical epilepsy. The instructor is there to show how great he is. So, it's an airsoft. So it's all these jerky moves. That works great on the IPSC shooting range, but doesn't translate into real world gunfighting where you're fighting for your life. And it actually sweeps away a lot of the essential foundations, especially in safety. And it becomes very unsafe. And I've seen it. I think that's one of the greatest challenges is the term that Abner Miranda calls entertainment. You go to training to be entertained.
Yeah, no.
Yes, there is a section. There is the percentage of, yes, it must be fun because we learn whilst we're having fun. But it is a deadly serious topic, and if we have too much entertainment,
Yeah,
again,
I've witnessed classes that were, I will say, a lot of fun. I mean, it looked like it was awesome. Although I will say that I did wonder how much people are actually learning. They look like guys having a fun day out with a barbecue afterwards, which is great. It has its place, but it really didn't seem to necessarily be something that was going to be incredibly informative or, as you say, retained. So yeah, I
yeah.
agree that. I mean, although with your training, I remembered I was able to consolidate the basics. When I did my next course in the States with a very good instructor, really impressive instructor as well, it was a great class. There was very little correction that he gave me because I'd remembered the bulk of it. So there's very few points that he cleaned up, and he noted that clearly I'd had training and that it was effective, and it was the basics. They were keeping a score. There were like 25 targets. There were a bunch of drills. I got 25 out of 25. I didn't miss once. Now I will say on your course, I think I missed 85% of the time. So for me, that was a significant uptick. I was shooting against guys who were former Marines and former Army, and one guy who was Ranger. And maybe they were a little bit rusty, but I shot better. Well, on points, I shot better than they did.
Okay.
Right, which also maybe calls into question some of the standard of handgun training or carbine training, maybe received in the Army, or maybe it's just a matter of how regularly they practiced, in the interim. But I was very impressed with my performance, and it was worth the money that I'd spent with you.
Yeah, look, it's. I also believe one of my frustrations also with attending those sort of classes, and then obviously with the military, he gets instruction. Okay, this you must point the gun in this direction. Okay, why? Why must I do this? So what I like to present in my class, the methodology, is the way you present your firearm. It sets you up for success when I'm teaching in our dynamic vehicle combatives class, structure class. It actually doesn't change. The combatives we do doesn't really change between environments, and I think for people that is what you're looking for. I want a simple system that I can use in an elevator, inside my vehicle, or inside my house, with minor adaptations because of a changing environment. I don't have to think of, wait, I'm inside an elevator, I must use X, Y, Z. Oh, in my car, I must use TGY, and no.
So
keep it simple so you remember it.
on that note, then, there's a difference clearly between the operating procedures, the problems faced by the civilian, by a woman outside who might be accosted in a parking lot, by a man who might be defending his home from an invasion, or a police officer. Can you tell us a little bit about what you think are the needs of these people and how you address those needs for those different scenarios? What are the skills that you require for those different scenarios?
I like to break it down even further than that. That police officer, the military, the male, the female, they're all essentially a person with a firearm in the need of in a self-defense situation. Yes, the police officer, military are governed by different operating procedures, as the civilian would be. The female, in general, look more like a soft target. But if I took all four of them, they could use the curriculum, modify it in their heads for their mission, adapt it, and succeed by utilizing the simple techniques. It's not brain surgery. Shooting, anybody can shoot and shoot effectively. The standards that I would bring them up to would all be the same. Pursuit of excellence. You're kind of talking about, well, if I'm going from the shops or if I'm defending my home, the combatives stay the same. The training environment would change because I'd like to do the combative structures in a structure, so we learn about the different surfaces and you'll have to attend a class if you want to learn more. But they would be able to take the core of the training material and quite effectively and easily, and as I said, they've done it, place it into their mission field.
So as you said, there's no radical departure from one to the other where they've got to learn a completely new...
Why should there be? Why should there be? You know, shooting is shooting. Working around a vehicle is working around a vehicle. If I'm working around an MRAP, a tank, or a vehicle, it's pretty much the same. Okay, it does change concealment and cover. That changes because the one offers more than the other. Pretty much the same. But you know what? That tanker and that Army Ranger guy still has to go home and be a civilian in a shopping mall, parking lot, defending his life.
I know that you do focus extensively on the law, especially you've written, I think, 1 or 2 books on firearms and the law. Yeah. I know that you also deal with accessories for firearms like red dot sights, laser sights, flashlights and such. So we've discussed a few of these things in general. Name 1 or 2 factors, or name the important factors that you focus on in your classes. I
really stress the essential foundations. In any class that I run, I always start off with an essential foundations check. With essential foundations, that is the actual solid foundation that you build everything on. The advanced skill sets all rest on essential foundations. If you can't present a firearm correctly or do it in a enclosed distance correctly, you're going to end up shooting yourself, shooting an innocent bystander, drawing the firearm, reholstering the firearm correctly. You know, now with the popularization of appendix carry, you've got a femoral artery sitting right there. What we see, as I mentioned earlier, tactical epilepsy, where you've got instructors who are reholstering pistols quickly, loaded pistols in demonstration in appendix carry.
Without looking.
Right hand and left hand, weak hand, they're sacrificing safety for the Gucci look. And also, when you look at them, they actually don't have much of an essential foundation base. They all want to jump to the Gucci side that looks cool and tactical.
I can corroborate that you focused a lot on certain essential basics, which was posture, balance, correct muscle tension and tone so that you were properly braced but not overly stiff. And there was a great focus on drawing the firearm and presenting safety factors, but also the movement at the end of it was smooth, very tight, and very controlled, and thus very precise and accurate.
No, for sure.
So I will say that I found that my form tightened up incredibly. Extraneous movement was eliminated. So my answer to the question I just asked you to answer to you is perhaps I see it from a different perspective from the outside view, but I went from what might be termed, I hope I wasn't flailing, but it's like going from flailing to very tight, very accurate, precise form.
Yeah, and that is such an important base to build everything else on, because if you can't draw a firearm correctly, how are you going to draw your firearm inside of a vehicle?
Yeah. No, I felt very, I agreed. There was that precision and that tightness and that efficiency was there. So yeah, accessing, drawing, using the second hand safely so it didn't get here. And those thoughts, I realized, I mean, you're working within the space you have. You're not cramping your body, your joints, but you're working. I felt really confident the next time I went to a firearms class. In fact, recently in Poland, I shot. It was a military event, and it was airsoft, but there was a tent, and they had these different military-style rifles, fully made of metal, heavy. These weren't light. I mean, these were replicas, but they fired airsoft. and I was kicking ass. Right, I was shooting really well. I mean,
Yeah.
impressively well, and everyone was like, "Did you have training?" I was like, "Yes, I did."
Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah, the
that's the
form
thing.
retain. I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
The confidence, just the confidence, that boost alone. But the structural. When I say structural, the mechanical efficiency in the movement, incredible.
Yeah. No, and that's it. I want a confident student leaving my class, not an arrogant student. I want a confident student leaving the class going, you know what, I feel confident about this and I want to pursue excellence. I want to grow in my firearm knowledge. And that's from the soccer mom to the law enforcement or to the guy who's going to be deployed. Um, I've trained them and I've shot with them. I want them going out saying, yes, actually, I am on that level now, and I feel confident to go out. Or, you know what, I've realized I need to get onto that pathway and get to that level where I can confidently carry a firearm, not bring it out at barbecues. It's not a barbecue toy. It's a thing where you are professional with it. Um, you don't need the Gucci kit. I dissuade people from, if I run a rifle class, bringing chest webbing and magazines. And
Mm.
if you're in the military, hey, cool, great. Dress like that. If you're a SWAT or that's how you dress for your job, great. But if you're a civilian and you want to dress up like that, you know what? I can direct you to an airsoft game where you can dress like that and play
Yeah,
soldier all day long. I want to teach you to survive your daily environment,
yeah.
whatever that might be.
No, I agreed. That I wouldn't say it wasn't like you had a philosophy though of like minimalism and that you were. It's just that these are the essentials. I'd say it's more like essentialism. Well, this is what's essential. These
Yeah.
are accessories. You may or may not have them. You may or may not be able to use them. You may or may not have a space to carry them. You may or may not have batteries for them, etc. So be good with the essentials. Additions can make it better, but I will say they're not necessarily better. We did the carbine. You had the laser sight in it, which was amazing, but it did take time to mount it, to switch it on, to check the batteries, make sure it was bore sighted correctly, and then you had to line up the shot. This took time. It was a lot quicker to just raise it, look through the iron sights, and pull the trigger, hit the thing.
Sure.
And I must admit, so yeah, cool to have the toys. Maybe if you're a sniper and you've got 60 seconds to set up a shot.
Everything has its place. I can use GPS, but I can also read a topographical map and use a compass. I run classes with
Yeah.
red dot pistols, but I can still use the caveman EOTech, which is metal on meat, so it's no sight.
Well,
But
you
that was
also
basically
mentioned at close range, we did a lot of move and shoot drills, getting off the line, different angles, which was actually very difficult to hit the target when moving at these different
yeah.
angles, different speeds, different ways of moving. That introduced a heck of a challenge, which I mastered on the next course that I did in the States, which
Yeah.
again I saw the improvement. But then also, when you're that close, do you need a red dot or laser sight at 2 meters?
No,
You
no.
shouldn't.
Look,
You should be able to hit the target. Hopefully, you can hit the barn door without needing a laser sight and GPS.
yeah, I agree. And that's where essential foundations are so critical. Uh, Accessories do help. That is for people like us. When you hit 40 plus, your eyesight does deteriorate. Red dots, it takes you to that next level of, look, you don't become a sniper with a pistol, but we were shooting 120 meters confidently, and getting good groupings on a target. Um, what we do find is the guys who attend red dot pistol classes, we start shooting out to distances. That's when we start finding out the essential foundations are non-existent. A lot of the class is then held back because, okay, we've got to take these guys and we've got to split them up and do some essential foundations so they can see what their pistol can do. Um, any counter-terror, law enforcement, military unit not using a red dot pistol nowadays, you're behind the curve. And that's my personal opinion. And yes, budgets are constrained, but you should be running a red dot pistol, not for Gucci, but set up correctly, not as a sporting firearm. I see a lot of guys wanting to get into red dot pistol, and they set it up like a sport pistol. The sporting pistols have their place in the sports arena. Your EDC firearm, which is now being red dots fitted onto it. It has to be done in a specific way. There are no shortcuts. There are no fancy gizmos that you can do. There are certain basic criteria that you have to have. They're non-negotiable if you want to be professional, proficient with that red dot pistol, because it's no longer, Dad's Master Blaster. It is now a precision instrument, and it has to be treated as such. And I think a lot of the guys, and I'm finding even recently, I find instructors who are, no, I know what I'm doing, but they're learning from YouTube. They're not qualified as a red dot instructor. Number one, they haven't written any books. They're not authorities on it. They haven't done the investigation. They've watched a YouTube video and they think that's it. We'll just make up our own stuff and get the people in for those Gucci classes so they can feel good. But they don't know the science behind it. They actually don't even know how to dial in their guns. When you take a red dot pistol, you turn it to its side. It's different factors that come in now. So those are sort of things you got to look at.
Okay, very interesting. Maybe a final question, unless any ad hoc questions come up, is you've mentioned you do the firearm, and of course you have a confined space class, which generally is vehicle combatives, and you obviously do a style of combatives that matches with your firearms. Can you tell us a little bit more about that training and what other training you do follow, which is part of your own personal training skill set?
I've researched and I've checked the stuff and attended those classes and qualified in them that are effective, number one, are simple, number two. I think most of us are our age, we probably did martial arts for many years. That's wonderful. People nowadays don't have years to study stuff. They don't have years to train certain things. If they can take 5% away, I want that 5% to be able to, they can defend their life to a certain degree. The blade work that we deploy, I've chosen that system because it works in structure. It works on the street, and it works, believe it or not, it works in the confined spaces of your vehicle, and that's the Piper system. I've taught it in my classes, so I've actually seen how effective it is to be able to deploy your blade inside of a vehicle, which is very different to standing one-on-one with somebody and having a knife fight. I've done a different knife fighting system for many years. It doesn't translate very well into a vehicle, into a structure, actually into real world. It's wonderful. I found that in the end, it translated very well into sparring, but not into reality. Right. So yeah, the Piper system has gone flawlessly into the firearm work we work with, and as well as with all the different environments that I train people in.
Okay, no, thank you for that endorsement. I appreciate it, and I'm glad that that's been helpful. Yeah, I was glad for the chance to share, and yeah, I've gained a lot out of this, and I'm glad to know that's been mutual. You're currently based in the UK. Obviously, you're available for training in the UK. You will be creating some products which will be available online through School of Arms Media. And of course, you will be doing classes within the US. There will be opportunities for civilians as well as opportunities for law enforcement. We're bringing your specialty to that. Is there anything else you want to add to that as to any potential timeline? And where can people contact you if they want more of your training, if they actually want you to provide, you said structure combatives, vehicle combatives, as well as your excellent foundation in firearms, which was just amazing. I said I recommend it highly. I benefited greatly from it. It wasn't cheap, if I recall. No, a friend of mine paid for it. It was a birthday present for me, but it was really, really fantastic and highly recommended. So yeah, where can people get hold of you? And obviously I think you're willing to travel, so how do people get hold of you if they want to learn more, and what products can we expect in the coming year?
Well, we've got I'm getting pretty booked up with the US law enforcement. I work through another company, Covenant Tactical, with that. They set me up with all that. So we're getting pretty booked up with multiple classes there. I'll be in the US. I'll be in Texas this year. We've got classes. Two of the classes I think are already booked up with that. I've got a Tennessee base as well. Civilian base, yep, they can contact me directly through School of Arms if you want to set up classes, or on the Facebook page. My email address is there. I do travel. That's not a problem to travel. I will train in all freedom-loving countries. If you're part of any left or right wingers, please do not contact me. I'm not interested. We do not. I fall within constitutions of countries. So if you want to do anything adverse with my skill sets, please do not contact me. Do not feel free to contact me.
Your Facebook page, that would be Gerald Bailey?
No, Durant Tactical.
Oh, Durant Tactical. Okay, that's the name of the logo.
We will be doing, I am available for seminars, the online seminars through School of Arms Media, so that they can contact John or Mike there and just set that up, and then we can do one-on-one, and we can do multiple seminars. We're also, I work with very select people, so with the Piper system, we'll do a knife and gun seminar, and you can see how we integrate the blade with the gun, not together. You never deploy a gun and a knife at the same time, but how the systems all work together, and it's just flawless. So that we're available for that, so for the joint seminars. But yeah, one-on-one tuition through seminars during this time now. I think it'll be quite expensive if you want to fly me over for a one-on-one seminar to the US, but if you want it, that's definitely workable. You can contact me, and my email address, it will be on this page at School of Arms Media, or it's on the Facebook page. So they can contact me directly. Please do not feel insulted if I turn you down. I have done that in the past when I do research on my clients, especially with groups, and I have turned lucrative contracts down because I did not agree with their outcomes.
Okay, no, I understand. We have to be circumspect. We never know who we're training. Well, we want to be sure who we're training. And associations understand that. So yeah, I think that's I think it's been a good discussion, a good interview. I think that wraps it up for everyone. So yeah, more information will be available on the page. Everyone can look below. And thank you for your time. I think it's been really good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thanks a lot, John.